Well, hey everybody, Dr. Angela here from the Author Incubator, and I am joined today for this interview by newly minted, best-selling author Melissa Morrison. Thank you so much for joining me. Melissa is the author of Unstick Your Stuck, How to Find Passion, Gain Clarity, and Play Bigger in Your Life. I love that subtitle because it really does tell you what the book's about, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Yes. Melissa, tell me what your book is about.
So my book is for unfulfilled career women that are stuck and just unhappy in their job. And so the book is to really help them, get them moving forward so they can gain clarity and begin to play bigger in their life.
I love that. So you were this woman.
I was this woman.
Can we tell people a little bit about your story, your kind of corporate business story when you were unhappy?
So this was me. This was the book for me. 5 years ago, I worked in accounting. I did auditing for about 10 years. I hated it. I dreaded going to work every day. I did not want to get up and go in. If I could take off, I did.
But what I love about your story is like you were also pretty good at it. Like I think you were liked in your office. Like it wasn't like you were getting fired. And do you think people would even that you worked with would have been surprised to find out that you were?
They were very surprised. I excel. I got outstanding on my performance reviews. I was certified as a fraud examiner. I was on my way to become a CPA. I thought that was my path, even though, there was something inside of me saying that this was not the right way to go.
So how did you make a switch?
So I made the switch from a wake-up call from the universe. I was playing softball and got hit right here between the eyes. And it literally just stopped me. I was unable to go back to work, and it gave me the best opportunity to figure out what I wanted to do with my life.
Not everybody could have the good fortune of being hit in the head with a large, hard ball.
Yeah.
So people stay, I'm thinking of so many people in my life, but somebody in particular who spent 30 years working for an insurance company and told me at his retirement, like he was miserable every single day, hated going to work every single day for 30 years. 40 hours a week for 30 years. A lot of people do that. So if they're somebody who has an inkling that they're unhappy, like you did, they maybe want to unstick their stuck. What's the mistake that they make that keeps them stuck there, if they don't get that wake-up call from the universe like you did?
Well, the biggest fear for me and a lot of people that I have spoken with is fear. We're afraid to pick the wrong thing. We're
like, let me keep doing this until I figure out when the choir of angels part and they sing.
Exactly. Or
you will be a florist, then you'll know.
I'm never going to be able to do that. Or you hear from friends or family that, you're making good money. You have a great job.
That sounds like a dangerous sentence. You're making good money.
Why change? Stay exactly where you are.
Right.
And that's one of the biggest mistakes that happen. The fear just shuts us down, keeps us on autopilot, and that's how we continue to go through life for 10, 30 years. One of the other big mistakes that I see is we don't want to spend money. We don't want to invest in ourselves. It's hard. We can go out, buy a new car, pretty easily for some people, but to actually be able to spend the money on ourselves to better ourselves, to make ourselves happy, we don't do that.
Right. It's so interesting that you mentioned buying a car, because there are very few accountants that are like, well, I'll just walk to work, right?
Yeah,
it seems like a necessity.
I'm fine, go buy a Mercedes, go buy,
right.
Or, even just Ford, whatever kind of car, but it's to just throw out $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 for a car.
And that's the other thing that happens when you get hit in the head with a baseball. You probably had lots of physical therapy, occupational therapy, psychotherapy, and because there was an accident, then there's permission to spend money on yourself because you're broken. We have to fix you.
Yeah, we have to, it's
But if
something
you're
physical.
not, if it's not that intense, then it's like, well, I guess you just be miserable for 30 years.
Exactly. And I tried going back to work multiple times, but there was that, I kept hitting that wall. That something inside saying I needed to do something else. And
So somebody listening right now, if they're thinking, oh my God, she's totally nailing me, there's something inside telling me I need to do something else, what's the best advice you could give them?
it was what I was just kind of underlying, is investing in yourself. That is the best thing that you could do. We only have one life to live. Why settle? You know, we don't, a lot of times people don't settle in their relationships, so why settle in our career? You know, take the time to really look within, what is our passions?
Don't you think people are afraid though? Like, okay, let's say I spend all this money, I get a therapist, I get a life coach, and at the end, there's no pot of gold.
Yeah.
There's no answer. I'm just as confused, but I'm just out 10 grand.
Yeah.
What do you say to that?
Well, what I say to that is that, one, it is only 10 grand in a certain aspect, but you also have learned so much along the way. You know, you're not at that same place you were that year ago. You're now, you know, probably have grown so much that you don't even really recognize that person that you were that year ago, even if it is something that isn't exactly what you want to do. But I bet somewhere inside you're going to have a better idea of what it is.
Yeah, progress, not perfection.
Yes, exactly.
Totally. If people want to get in touch with you, Melissa, how can they find you?
Well, it's very easy. Email me, melissa@melissa.s, make sure you include the S, morrison.com.
Awesome. Melissa at melissasmorrison.com. I love that your name is so easy to say and spell.
Yes.
Terrific. Well, thank you so much
Yes,
for
thank
joining
you.
us today. Melissa Morrison. She is the author of Unstick Your Stuck, How to Find Passion, Gain Clarity, and Play Bigger in Your Life.